All right, let's get started. So yesterday we didn't finish a couple of slides. Let me just share my screen. Window. Can you guys all see the screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Um, Let me just do this. Okay. All right, let's get started. So today, let's see. We did match. We did while loops. We didn't do for loops. We didn't do for loops, correct? Do you guys remember doing this or no?
No.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Let's get into for loops. All right. So let me just open up. Let me send the link in the chat again for this. All right. Great. All right, let's do for loops. Okay. So what are for loops, right? A for loop goes through each item in a sequence, right? They're usually used for like lists, tuples, strings, stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's remember how we did while loops, and it's kind of like almost the same thing. It is a repeating loop. It repeats. So for example, let's take this for fruit. In fruits, print fruit. So what this is going to do is it's going to look at, so fruit here is a variable. This could be I, this could be X, this could be Z, this could be A, B, C, D, whatever, right? It doesn't matter what this is. That's just a variable. And it's going to look in fruits. And fruits is our variable name here. Okay. And it's defined as this list that we have. What this code is going to do is it's going to loop through each index inside of this list and print the fruit. So let me show you what that means in action, right? So let's do fruits equals, I'll just copy this piece of code here. Might be easier. Okay. All right, let's see what this does. Okay, so basically what this is doing is fruit is this variable here. I could make this for I. It's actually more common to see for I in usually, but yeah. See, and it's gonna access the element inside. To put this more contextually, right? We can do the same logic a different way. So let me show you how you can do the same logic a different way. So for I in length, let's do range length of fruits. Range length of fruits. Then we're going to print the fruits. Put this fruits I. So let's see what this code does here. Okay, it does the same thing, but this actually might make sense more. Uh, might make more sense mathematically. I guess it's more easier to visualize. So let me show you what this means, right? Let me pull out a whiteboard. Okay, so let me show you. So let's go back to our code here so we can see. So for I in range, length fruits, what does that mean? So range property, what range does is it's basically counting, it's basically a counter kind of thing. So range here, we're giving it, let me just give you an example. Let's just do for range 3. and let's make it print I. Let's see what this code does. So I'll just give you an example so it'll make more sense. Okay, this runs the code 3 times, right? I initially starts at 0. We know that I starts at 0 because that's what the first is, right? It's printing at I. So I is starting at index 0, right? That's how we're able to access this. So we're printing out I. So I initially starts at 0, and we run it 3 times because range, what this property does, is basically a counter. It goes, increases by 1 3 times. So it goes 0, 1, 2, right? That's what range does. And we're basically setting, instead of setting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever number, right? We're trying to access each index inside of this fruits, right? Fruits array can change. It can be 3, 7. So we don't want to write like 3 or something, right? Because we know that this variable could change its length. So what we do is we just do length of the fruits. So what this part of the code does is it grabs the length. How long is this array? Do you guys remember length fruits from when we learned about the lists before? Does everyone remember this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, great, great. Okay, looks like someone's in the waiting room. Great. So yeah, so that's what this does. This part of the code, and then what we're doing next. Then what we're doing next is we're gonna be add in grabbing the index value. So whenever we want to grab a value inside of a list like this, we're gonna have to use the variable name and use the square bracket and whatever index number. So if you want to grab the first element, you would do 0 because that's corresponding to this. It'll grab apple. If you want to do the second element, you would do 1. Third element, you would do 2, so on and so forth, right? And if you want to grab all the elements in a list using a for loop, then you would just do fruits I, because I, remember, is initially 0, then it goes to 1, then it goes to 2. Does that make sense to everyone, how this works so far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So that is, put simply, how you're going to be accessing lists using a for loop. Um, okay. All right. So for loops are not just for lists. Like I mentioned before, they can also be used for tuples and strings. Okay. Which might be kind of weird because strings don't have like multiple items, right? But yes, you can access it in strings. Let's take this example right here. Right. For letter in high, it's going to print the letter. So as you noticed, this is not an array, but it's able to access each thing. So let's do it a for loop like we learned just now, right? So for I in, let's create a variable. Let's call this word equals high. For I in range length of word, you're able to also access it the same way. So print word and I. Okay, yeah, sorry. Previous code, let me delete that so you can see it more clearly. Yeah, perfect. Accidentally clicked that again, but yeah, it's working if you see. So basically, you can do the same methodology that we used previously for strings as well. You can actually, each string value actually has an index. So this H is index 0, this I is index 1, this exclamation mark is index 2. So you can access strings the same way you access arrays. A space would also count as an index. This would be an index too. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Great, 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 great. Okay, so that's how you can loop through a array or a list in Python. In other languages called array, but yeah, a list, tuples, and strings using a for loop. Great, great, great. Okay. Mm. Okay, another thing you can do with range here is range. You can also make it have a starting point, a stopping point, and a step. Okay, let me show you what that means, right? So let's do for I in range. Let's give it a starting point, right? Let's say we want to start it at the first index and have a stopping point at the fourth index and count up by one. Okay, so it's gonna count up by one. So it's already been counting up by one. I just wanted to define it. Then I'm gonna say print I. Okay, let's see what this code does. Okay, so starts at one and stops at four. It doesn't remember whenever we give it a stopping point, the stopping point always ends at four, not including it. So it's exclusive to four. So it doesn't include four. Okay, let's do the same thing, but let's give it a step count of two. Let's just increase this so we have more space to work with. Let's see what this does. Okay, now you see it's counting up by two. One plus two, three. Three plus two, five. Right? So that's how you can also use for loops and ranges for counting up by multiple steps, having a stop point. You can use those. Um, you can also do a thing called, let's say you have an array. Let's say you're given a problem and you want to start at the minimum. Let me just show you so it's easier to see. So you're given a list of numbers: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight numbers. Okay. Let's say that you need to loop through the from the lowest number on here to the highest number. So right now the lowest number is what? One, right? And the highest number is what? Eight. So we need to loop through whatever number is the lowest and set that as our starting point, and whatever number is the highest and set that as our ending point, right? So how can we do that? So let's say we don't know what the minimum value is in an array, right? So we can obviously just do one through eight, but let's say the list is changing rapidly, right? And we don't know what the minimum is. So you can actually use a function called min and feed in your array like this. That's your starting point, right? Then you can do max and feed it into array. Now that's your maximum point, right? Now let's do print I. Let's see what this does. Okay, yeah. So it starts from the lowest and goes up to the highest. But let's say you want to include this 8. So how can we do that? It's pretty simple. You just do plus 1. And now you're able to include 8 as well. Does this make sense to everyone? How for loops work? How we can use ranges, how we can use min, max, stuff like that?
Yeah. Can you use it for words?
Yes, yes. You can use it for words as well. Let's do an example. Let's give a word uh, borrow. I don't know. Let's try that. Let's see if it works. Cannot be. Oh, right. Right. Not int. Okay. So you can't use the min thing for words, like the min function, because this is only for integers, but you can use range for words as well. Like you can get the length of the array like that. So this would work. Like this would work. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. Someone trying to join the call. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Do you have a question?
Um, yeah. One thing.
Hmm.
So, is there a way to use I and a for loop to make the word to create to for the word, but make it go instead of going vertically down, going horizontally?
Yes. You can. It's okay. I'm pretty sure you do it like this. Let me see. Pretty sure that's how. Yeah. Okay. If you do it like this, yeah, you can do it like that. Okay. Sorry. If I did array I because you want to grab the index of it, not just the number. If you do that, yeah, perfect. Yeah. If you want to make it horizontal with nothing, all you have to do is in your print statement add this line. So comma end equals this quotation marks. You can do that. You can also do this space here, and then it'll be have a space in between it. Let's say you wanted to have dashes for whatever reason, you can also do that. It's just stuff you can do with print, right? If you just do comma end equals quotation marks, then you can set it to whatever you want. If you just want to run it without anything, just do empty quotation marks, no space, and you're able to rewrite it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right, let's move on. All right, so that was basically for loops. Let's see. Okay. Um, for loops, control nesting. All right, now let's get into nested for loops, break and continue, and what these all mean. Right. Let's just start with something simple. We'll use break since we already learned about break. Okay, who can tell me what break means? Who can tell me how we use it in program? We covered this yesterday.
We use it to break a forever loop.
Yeah, you can use it to exit the loop, right? Yeah, you're correct. Good job. Yeah, so use breaks to exit the loop and continue to basically what continue does is it ignores the rest of the code and starts the for loop in the next line. Okay, let me just it's kind of confusing when I say it like that, so I'll show you with an example. So let's look here. Okay. So for x in range 6, if x equals 4, okay, let's see what it did. Okay, when x is equal to 2, you see it did continue. It didn't print out 2. Do you notice that? Why didn't it not print out 2? Print is right here, right? So when x is equal to 2, it does continue. So what does that mean? So when it continues, it doesn't do the code underneath. It moves on but increments x. So x, let me visualize it. So x is 0 initially. So then we print out 0 because that's what we're doing, right? We're printing out 0. So let me show you input and output. Okay. Then x is 1, right? Then we print out 1. X is 2. But what happens when x is 2? We do continue. So continue skips the rest of the code. So it just doesn't look at this code, the rest of it. Whatever's underneath it, it ignores it completely. It runs whatever's above it. Remember, Python looks line by line, but it ignores everything underneath it. So once it ignores everything underneath it, what it's going to do is it skips it. But x will still increment. It's still going to go up by 1. X is going to go to 3. But nothing is going to be here. It's just going to be blank. Okay? Then we go to 3. Then we print out 3. Then we go to 4. Okay, what happens when we have 4? We break the code, right? Well, we need a loop through 6 times. We break the code, so we exit. The loop didn't technically finish. So that's it. Okay? So we print. We don't print because we break it here, actually. So everything underneath, it doesn't run. It doesn't check for X. It doesn't print this. So we stop the code and that's it. So nothing is printed here too. So what's our output now? Our output is 0, 1, and 3. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, all right, cool, cool, cool. So that's how continue break work in Python. All right, now let's move on into nested loops, right? A loop inside of a loop. That's what nested loops are simply. So let's take this example here. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's try to break down what this did, right? So it's writing print C and print S. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's try to figure this out. So we have two arrays or lists, right? We have two lists. One's called colors, one's called sizes. The first array goes to the first list. The second array goes through sizes, which is the second list, right? So let's try to break this down, right? Let's create a table so you can visualize this easier. So let me just create a table here. Let's call one C, one R, and sorry, S, one S, and one called output. That's going to be our out. Okay, let's create a table. So initially, both our C and S start at 0, right? So we have 0, 0. So what's our output for 0, 0? So we do print index of 0, 0. What's index 0, 0? Red and S, right? So what's our output going to be? I'm just going to write shorthand. Yeah, red S. Good job.
Red S.
Yeah. So I'm just going to write it shorthand, just RS, but you guys know it's red S, right? Okay. Next, we look at the code again. Okay, where is the for loop? It's still inside of here. So this loop inside has to finish before it goes to the outside loop. So we need to finish this inner loop first. So how does that work? So the inner loop needs to finish. So this increments by 1, but C still stays at 0. So what's our output going to be? It's going to be 0, 1. We say print 0, 1. Okay, what's 0 here in colors?
Red.
Okay, good.
Red.
What's 1 here in sizes?
M. 1.
Yeah, so it's red M, right? So this is going to be now red M. Does that make sense to everyone? How we're doing the inner loop, outer loop thing?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just make sure you ask questions if you're confused because this workshop's for you guys. So it's okay if you have questions. Okay, cool. Next up is whenever this loop, it's going to keep doing. Let's say this is, there's more, right? A or whatever, right? So then it does the third one too. Then it does 0, 3, right? Then we do write A. Okay, once this is done, it goes to the outer loop. Okay, once this goes to the outer loop again, this goes back to 0. This is now 0 again. So the outer loop C is now going to increment by 1. So C gets incremented by 1. But the S loop inside is now 0 again. Okay? Because it's done looping through and it resets because now it's a new loop coming in. This becomes 1. Okay? So now we're saying print 1, 0. Okay, so we print 1, 0, which is going to be blue S, right? So we do blue S, right? Then it goes through the inner loop again. So now inner loop increments by 1 again. So then we have 1, 1, which is going to be blue, what is it? M. Blue M. Does this make sense to everyone so far?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's how for loops work, and you can use these double like tables here to understand your code. Tables are really really useful in programming. If you guys are taking AP Computer Science A, whenever you're solving the problems, tables are gonna come really really handy. So yeah, they're very important. So learn to write out your code like this to understand your algorithms. Okay, great, great, great. All right, does anyone have any questions before we move on?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, cool. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna let's see. Do I have an example? for you guys to try it? Okay, yeah, I do. Fruit Loops. Okay, let's. I want to give a practice question. I want you guys. I want one of you guys to explain to me this code. So I'm gonna write a code down, and you're gonna explain to me how this code works. Okay. So let's keep it numbers this time. So let's do array one is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Array two is equal to 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. Okay. For I in array one, print, okay. For j in array two, print a different example. Give me 1 second. Let me try to think of another way you can do this. Plus one. Okay, I think you can do it like that too. We'll do a more complicated example next time. But yeah, good job. You can also use double arrays like this, like nested loops, in the same string. Like you don't have to have two different ones. I'll show you that next time we come, because we haven't even started our curriculum for today technically, but it's okay. It's okay. We're just catching up on it. I'll give you. So I didn't will assign you guys for loop homework, so we'll just move on to the content we have for today. Okay, so today we're gonna go into functions. All right. Okay, so we're gonna first understand what a function is, creating a function. So a function is a named reusable block of code. It's kind of like a variable, but for your entire code, like whatever code you have. So you don't have to rewrite the code all the time. You know how we have our variables? It's like a container for like one specific, data type, right? But a function is a container for multiple lines of code. So you don't have to like rewrite the code all the time. Yeah. If you guys are unmuted, do you mind? Okay, thank you. Okay. Define with the def keyword. Okay, so to create a function, you're going to have to create. This is how you would create. Let me show you. So it'd be def and whatever you want your function name. So we'll do greet, and you always do these two parentheses afterwards. We'll get into why we need to do this in a second, but yeah. And you can put whatever code in here. Let's just put in a code called hi, right? And yeah, we'll just do that for now. Right. So now to actually use this function, I'll just do this and I can use it. I can do another hi. See, I don't have to write print hi all the time. Of course, I could just write it because it's just one line. But if I had multiple lines of code, right, then I wouldn't have to do it again. I can just use this function and use it wherever I want in the code. So that's how functions basically work. They're basically variables for blocks of code. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's just the basics of, like, really basics of functions. We'll get more into complicated stuff in a second. Okay, we have like 20 minutes. We should be fine. All right, so okay, good function names describe what the function does. So make sure you're naming it where you can understand what that function does. Okay. All right. A parameter is the name listed inside the parentheses in a function, right? What does that mean? What is a parameter? Let's learn that. So let's say I have a parameter. Let's just call it name, okay? And let's say print. Let me give it another print function and say print my name is. Then I can just do this plus name space. Okay. So basically, what I have done is used this name property as a variable. So I'm setting a variable, giving it inside the function. So now the function is expecting something to be inside of here. What is it expecting? It can be a number, a letter, word, boolean, whatever, right? Because Python is great like that. Like if you had to do this in Java, you had to specify. Like if I wanted to make it a string, then I had to say string name of the parameter, right? But Python is awesome, so you can change it to whatever you want. So let's say greet, and I'll give it my name, such it, and then I can give this one my brother's name, Sajin.
Hey there,
And
coding
now let's see
enthusiasts.
what happens.
Today, we'll learn some cool tricks on how to
Okay,
assign
what?
multiple values
Actually,
in Python. Ready?
unindent does not
Let's
match
go.
any. Okay,
First up,
indentation, of
let's see
course,
how Python lets you
of
assign
course.
values to multiple variables in a single line.
Great. Okay, so what did you guys notice?
Hey there, techies.
What
Welcome
did you
back to
notice here?
wtschools.com. Today, we're diving into the rules of Python.
Your name's in it.
Yep, and it's in it because we created a parameter called name, and whenever we create greet, we have
Hey there, future
passing
Python
in our
wizards.
name, like our actual name. So this saves us
Today,
much
we're
time,
learning
right?
about
Like
global
I could have
functions.
wrote
These are
this out.
special
I could have
variables
wrote
that
print
live
hi,
outside
my name
functions.
is
They can
Sachin.
be
Print
accessed
hi,
whenever
my
you
name is
want,
Sajin.
both
And I
inside
could
and
have wrote
outside
this
of these
for
functions.
every single one of our names in this call. But instead, I could create a function, just change up the names a little bit, and bam, I don't have to rewrite the code. So you can think of a function like the skeleton, right? Everyone is, for the most part, everyone has the same structure in our body, right? So we have almost the same skeleton, but what changes is just a couple of things, right? Our hair color. Most of us have hair, so there's certain things that change, but the outline is pretty much the same for everyone. So basically, a function is your outline and your features, your facial features, your body features, color, and all that different stuff is coming whenever you're outlining it in the parameters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Great, great, great. Okay, so that is basically a function. Um, mhm. Okay, in a function, you can also have multiple. Like it doesn't have to be just one. You can also have another one and another one and another one. Right? It doesn't matter. Make sure it's a word actually, not numbers. But yeah. Um, you could also say, let's say, print age. Right? Let's do age. My age is okay. Plus B. Okay, we'll just call B for now. And then 18, Sajin, 14. I'll just delete this. Okay. And it's gonna give me an indentation error, I just know it. So if I do that, it should work. Uh, can only concatenate string, not into string. Okay, so in that case, str, that should solve it. Okay, what I basically did is it was giving an error since it was an integer, so I converted this into a string property, so it can be viewed as a string. So you can also do that as well. But yeah, so my age is 14, my age is 18. Everything is working as expected, and I don't want. So right now there's like, I want to have a blank space between each call.
Hey there, coding enthusiasts.
Yeah, indentation error.
Today, we're examining
Okay.
how to output variables in Python. Let's see how we can use the print function to display variables.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically how this code works here. Does anyone have any
Hey there,
questions
future
before we
players.
move on?
Today
Does
we're
this all
looking
make
into
sense?
Python comments. Ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comments use
Yeah.
print functions to
Okay,
display
okay,
info like
that's good.
this.
Let's see. Let's see. Got about 10 minutes. All right. So you guys are all gonna do this now. So you guys are gonna create a greeting. It doesn't have to be hello plus name. Do whatever you guys want. Right. Be as creative as possible. But I'll give you guys like 3 minutes for that. So go ahead, work on that. So yeah. Okay. Is everyone done?
No. Almost.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you guys 1 more minute, and then we'll go on to the next content. If you're not done, it's okay. We'll keep moving on for now. You guys can finish after class. Okay. So next thing is we also have default values in keyword arguments. Okay. So what does that mean, right? So whenever we're creating a function, let's just go back to this example here. Let's say um, the user doesn't define a a uh, a name, right? Then you can just call it a random name. Let's just say unidentified. I think that's how you spell it.
Ready to embark on
Okay,
the coding journey? Let's get started.
and let's just take out my name for now. Let's just agree. Let's see what happens
ABCs and
if I
math
don't give
are what
it
Python is
parameter.
called.
The only parameter I'm
Feel
giving
free
it
to go on
is
your
the
machine. On a
yeah, yeah.
Windows
Let's take that out and let me
Hey
just
there,
take out the
coding
14 here
enthusiast.
because we don't have a parameter b.
Today we're examining how to output
Okay.
variables in Python. Let's see how we can use the print function to display variables. To start, the
It's
print
not
function
defined.
is
Oh,
used
right.
to output
Let me just take
variables.
out this line here. Okay. If you noticed, we can also set default stuff as well. So if we don't want it, leave it empty. If we
Hey
don't
there,
create
future
something, we
coders.
can
Today we're
also
looking at
always have
Python
a
variable names.
default value inside. Makes everything a
What's
little
a
bit
name?
easier.
Well,
So you don't
think
have
of
to
it like
always
this.
define something that's
In
gonna be like
Python, you can name
default.
your
So if
variables
you're
with a
gonna have
function.
like a default
Hey
animal
there, future coders. Today
in
we're looking at
you're
Python
trying to sort
variable
something
names.
or create a mini pet house or whatever,
What's in a name?
and you want to have
Well, when
a
it comes to
parameter called
coding, there's a
animal,
lot.
and you want to have a
In
default animal, like
Python, you
your
can name your
default
variables
animal
with
is going to be
anything
like
you.
a dog or something,
Hey
then you
there,
could set
coding
it as
enthusiast.
dog. Or if you're creating a
You'll
type,
learn some
like
cool tricks on how to
a
assign multiple
system
values in Python.
that's holding
Ready?
types of dog
Let's
breeds,
go.
and your most common
First
dog
up, let's see how
breed
Python lets
is
you
like,
assign values to multiple
I
variables
actually
in a
don't know
single
dogs that
line.
much, but like whatever is a common dog breed,
Hey
you
there,
can put
techies. Welcome back to
breed
Future Freaks with
equals
Seth.
that dog breed.
Today we're
But
diving
yeah,
into the rules of
that's
Python's
how you
syntax.
can use default settings as well. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so that's how you can put